हाय फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम बैक। तो चलो देखते हैं स्वामी सर्वप्रियानंदा एट IIT, हु एम आई अकॉर्डिंग टू मंधुकया
उपनिषद
पार्ट 1। चलो देखते हैं। वीडियो शुरू करते हैं। वीडियो शुरू करने से पहले अगर आप चैनल पर नए हो और आपने अभी तक सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया तो जल्दी से पहले सब्सक्राइब के बटन और बेल आइकन को क्लिक कर लो ताकि आपको हमारे सारे न्यू वीडियोस के नोटिफिकेशन मिल जाएं जैसे हम अपलोड करें।
अगर आपको वीडियो पसंद आता है प्लीज़ लाइक एंड शेयर। चलिए शुरू करते हैं।
The primary objective of all our activities remains self-awakening and social awakening. So if you are also interested to be the part of our team, then you can contact us on the given contact number. Upanishads. They are the core text of Vedanta, which means sitting near, implying sitting near a teacher to get knowledge. There are 108 Upanishads and Mandukya Upanishad is one of them. The theme of Mandukya Upanishad is an exposition of mystic syllable Om with a view of training the mind in meditation for the purpose of achieving freedom gradually, so that individual soul is attuned to ultimate reality. Who am I? Am I physical character, emotional character, intellectual character, or something very deeper?
स्पिरिचुअल कैरेक्टर।
Where have I come from? Where am I going? These are all the questions that open doors to spiritual discovery. We often get so much caught up in
Lights.
material life
Lights,
that
lights,
we begin
lights.
to identify with our possessions, our jobs, our roles in relationships. We unconsciously think, I'm a job, I'm good because I have a good house, I'm spouse, etc. etc. But what happens when we lose these things? We lose our imaginary and we no longer know who we really are. So let us embark on this journey of revealing our true identity
Switch off.
according to Mandukya Upanishad.
स्विच ऑफ कर दे
So now I request Swamiji, Swami Sarvpriyananda Ji Maharaj, to come forward and enlighten us with the thoughts on our original identity.
क्लासरूम में
Good evening, and
अब आई
I'm
ना
back
आवाज़।
again, this time with a very different subject. The subject today is this most ancient of questions, who am I? And we will investigate this subject, this question, in the light of the Upanishads this evening and tomorrow again at the same time. So this is the question we'll be looking at.
Who am I? Consciousness.
Vedanta is basically the teachings of the Upanishads. Vedanta Nama Upanishad Pramanam. The definition of Vedanta is the philosophy based on the teachings of the Upanishads is Vedanta. I think most of you are familiar to some extent with Vedanta and the Upanishads. The Upanishads present the highest philosophical teachings of the Vedas. They are among the most ancient texts known to mankind. There is a long list of Upanishads. In fact, in one of the Upanishads called Muktika Upanishad, we find a list of 108 Upanishads. But among all of these Upanishads, there are some 10 or 11 major, within quotes, major Upanishads. Major, why major? Because Adi Shankaracharya, some 1200 or 1300 years ago, chose these Upanishads to write his commentaries, Bhashyam, on these Upanishads. And these Upanishads basically have become the central texts of Vedanta. So the Vedanta movement you see all over the world, these Upanishads have become the source texts. Shankaracharya interpreted these Upanishads in a non-dualistic fashion, so his teaching is called Advaita Vedanta. That is the context in which we will be discussing all this today. Among all the Upanishads, especially among these major Upanishads, there is one Upanishad which is the smallest of all the Upanishads and also regarded as the toughest. and that is called the Mandukya Upanishad. There is a saying that Mumukshunam Vimuktaye Mandukyam Ekameva Alam. For the liberation of those who want spiritual enlightenment, Mumukshu, those who want mukti, for them, the Mandukya Upanishad alone is sufficient. So if you read this Upanishad and you are lucky enough to understand what it means and realize what it means as a living reality in your own life, you are free. You don't need anything else. So for liberation, the Mandukya itself is sufficient for those who want liberation, for those who want moksha or spiritual enlightenment. It is the smallest Upanishad. The only 12 mantras are there in this Upanishad. It is found in the Atharva Veda. You all know that there are 4 Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda and Atharva Veda. In the Atharva Veda, you find this Upanishad. Among other Upanishads, you find this Mandukya Upanishad. Only 12 mantras. So it's like a small chili which is very hot. Sometimes in Bengali they say dhani lanka. A small chili which is very hot. In this Mandukya Upanishad, the most important mantra, the central mantra, central text is what you have in your hands now, the handout. The 7th mantra. The 7th mantra of the Mandukya Upanishad. This is in fact the core mantra of the entire Upanishad, of these 12 mantras. And this gives a direct answer, the highest possible answer that you can find in our scriptures, in Vedanta. And I have not found any more sophisticated, more profound answer in any of the literatures of the world religions or philosophies which I have come across at least. At least I have not found myself, nor has anybody reported anything more profound than this. So when I was given an opportunity to talk to you, I decided, what the heck? Let me go for the toughest text. Let's see what happens. We'll take it up as a challenge. Normally we don't use this in a general gathering. It's usually reserved for those who have studied Vedanta for a long time, and only then you take up this one. But pay attention, and I think we'll all derive a great deal of benefit from today's lecture and tomorrow's also. Tomorrow I'll go further, a little deeper into this text. The Mandukya Upanishad was commented upon by Gaudapada Acharya. Gaudapada Acharya is the guru of Shankaracharya's guru. So Gaudapada Acharya's disciple was Govindapada, and Govindapada's disciple was Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya. So in Uttarakhand, in the Himalayas, they say Guru or Dada Guru, grandfather, like that, grand Guru. So Shankara's guru's guru was Gaudapada Acharya, and he wrote verses on the Mandukya Upanishad. These verses are called Mandukya Karika. So nowadays when you look at the Mandukya Upanishad, you usually find them in a book called Mandukya Karika. It includes the Mandukya Upanishad plus Gaudapada Acharya's commentary on the Mandukya Upanishad in the form of verses called Karika, plus Shankaracharya's commentary in prose, in Sanskrit, prose, on the original Upanishad as well as the Karikas of Gaudapada Acharya. So this is the book, Mandukya Karika. It has 4 chapters. The first chapter incorporates the Mandukya Upanishad, the original text, as well as certain commentaries given by Gaudapada Acharya. And this mantra is found in the first chapter, in the Upanishad itself. It's the 7th mantra. We will come back to this at the end of the talk. When I learned communication long way back before I joined the order, my communication teacher told me, you should start all talks with a story. So
Grab attention.
I'll start this talk with a story. About 10 years ago, in the Himalayas, in the high Himalayas in Gangotri, I was staying there for about a month, just like a traditional monk. No ashrama, no school, college, Ramakrishna Mission, nothing. Just staying in a log cabin, begging for my food in the Anna Kshetra, and meditating and studying. And staying in the log cabin means not like this. There's no electricity, no furniture, nothing. Just, Rajai, Kambal. On the ground there's a blanket, and 2 or 3 blankets you can put on yourself. And so dark in there at this time because you cannot go out. It's very cold and dark outside. Nowadays they have electricity. But nowadays they even have mobile phones. They have put up a tower nearby so you can signal there. I saw that happening, by the way. Anyhow, at that time, it was so dark, at this time in the cabin, it would be so dark that if I wave my eyes to wave my hands before my eyes, and I could not make out whether my eyes are open or closed. You cannot see anything. Only sometimes you can see sparks jumping out of your woolen clothes in static electricity from the comble to your sweater. But anyway, so that was the situation. One day after Bhiksha, I was taking a walk with some of the monks there with whom I had made friends. And this monk, he told me a story. So you can see the setting in the Himalayan through the forest tracks. The deodar trees are there, pine trees also. And you go through that, you're taking a walk around 4:30 or 5. Dinner is at 4 o'clock. So because afterwards it's too dark afterwards. And this monk told me a story. The story goes like this. Raja Janak Raja. One day he was asleep, very peacefully sleeping. And suddenly the sentry came running and said, I'll use mixture of Hindi and English, but I'll translate into English also, because the story was told to me in Hindi. Maharaj ji, uthiye, get up, what happened? The enemy has attacked, we must fight a war. So Janak Raja immediately got up, summoned his generals and his soldiers, and he went off to battle, put on his armor and sword and everything, took his sword and everything and went off to battle. And there was a fierce battle in which Janak Raja was defeated. He was wounded, he was captured by the enemy, dragged before the enemy king, and the enemy king said, Tumhara rajya ab hamara rajya hai. I have captured your kingdom. Now, I will not kill you because you are a king, I'll exile you. You get out of this kingdom, it's mine now. What could poor Janak Raja do? He was tired and exhausted and bleeding and depressed. Somehow he started walking, and people in what was his own capital earlier, they refused to give him water or food because they were afraid. They said, the new king is very cruel. If they know we have helped you, he will punish us. After walking for 2 days, he came to the border of his kingdom. Then he crossed the border to the next kingdom, and he found food was being served to poor people, beggars. So there was a long line, and I think they were serving rice or khichdi or something, and a big handa was there. So he joined that line. And as he advanced in the queue, when he came up to the place where it was being served, at that time it was finished. No more food. And he could not take it anymore. He was feeling terribly depressed and tired and exhausted and in pain. And the person who was giving food, he said, just this starch, which is lying at the bottom of the handa, that is there, I'll give it to you if you want it. He said, okay, give me that. And he gave him a bowl, filled that starch in there, and gave it to him. Before he could lift it, trembling to his lips, a kite, cheel, was circling up there. It dived and hit that bowl, knocked it out of his hands, and that bowl went rolling in the dust, and whatever was there was spilled in the dust, and Janak Raja could not take it anymore. He was so overcome with misery and sadness, he fell down on the ground. Ha ha kar karte hue, as he said. The sadhu, ha ha kar karte hue. Ha ha kar in Sanskrit, ha kar, Hindi ha kar, not English ha ha. So it means just the opposite. And when he was crying, alas, suddenly he heard a voice, Maharaj ji, kya hua? What happened? Sir? And he woke up, his chest pounding, covered in sweat, sitting on the bed. And the sentry has come. Maharaj, you shouted. What happened? So it was a dream. The whole thing was a dream, a nightmare. Nothing has happened. But because Janak Raja was very, he had a very analytical mind. So he looked up and he said, Wo sach ya ye sach?
Correct.
Is that true or is this true? Is that dream true or is this waking world, is it true?
There's a third.
Wo sach ya ye sach? Sentry was taken aback. What is this? He called the minister. Sir, what is wrong? Wo sach ya ye sach? He called the queen. The queen thought, this old man, what has happened to you? His wife came, what happened to you? Wo sach ya ye sach? There's only one thing he's saying. Wo sach ya ye sach? Nobody could understand this. Next day in the morning, in the marketplace, it's already Greek problems. People are talking in hush-hush. And Ashtavakra Muni, the great Jnani, he's walking, he has come to the city, and he heard, this is what is happening. Now he was a Gyani, so he knew what has happened. He decided, I will go and visit Janak Raja. And he went to the court and he asked Janak Raja, kaise hain? Maharaj ji, how are you? And Raja said, wo sach hai, ye sach. That's what he's doing all day, sitting in the court, surrounded by the queen and the ministers and the army and the generals and everything. And I'm sort of imagining, this is not part of the story, but I'm imagining, the officers coming with files, please sign. Wo sach hai, ye sach. No work is getting done. When he said this to Ashtavakra Muni, same thing. Wo sach hai, ye sach. Now Ashtavakra Muni knows what he's referring to. So he said, Janak Raja, when you were rolling in the dust, bleeding, tired, defeated, depressed, crying on that ground, what he is referring to only Janak Raja knows and he knows. Nobody else understands. What is this defeat and all this? At that time, was all this there? Your power, your wealth, your queen, your generals, your minister, all these things were there or not? Janak Raja said, no. None of this was there. Only defeat and depression and sadness and misery. And now you're sitting here in the court, surrounded by your courtiers and all this power and wealth. That defeat, that depression, those wounds, that terrible situation, is it here? The king said, no, it's not here. Na, yahan to nahi hai wo. Then Ashtavakra Muni said, to Raja, na ye sach, na wo sach. Neither this is true, nor that is true. This was not there in that terrible dream. And today you are in this situation, you are calling it a dream, that is not here. Then Janak Raja was shocked. The next question which would come to all of us, he's saying, to kuch bhi sach nahi, is it nothing true then? Then the Muni said, jab wo aap wahan par the, on that battlefield, on that place where you were rolling in the dust, defeated, crying, were you there or not? Tab wahan aap the ya nahi? Did you see that or not? Yes, I was there. I saw that. That may be false, but I have experienced it. It may be false. I woke up and I say it is false, but I have experienced it. Or idhar up, where you are now sitting in the court, idhar bhi aap hai ki nahi? Are you sitting here and experiencing this or not? He says, yes, I am experiencing it. To Raja, na ye sach, na wo sach, but tum hi sach. Neither that is true, nor this is true, but you, the witness of both situations. You alone are the truth. This is a story. The rest of the lecture, we are going to struggle with this concept.
वही क्या स्टोरी थी, ना ये सच ना वो सच, मैं तो समझ ही नहीं आया। तो सच है
देखिए,
क्या?
आप लोगों ने पहले ही सुना, बहुत लोगों ने सुना होगा कि जो ड्रीम में आता है क्या वो सच है, जो यहाँ आता है सच है। आंसर है नाइदर, नन ऑफ देम इज़ ट्रू। और अगर आप भगवत गीता पढ़ें तो पता चलता है कि एवरीथिंग इज़ टेम्पररी, और आप कुछ समय के लिए आए हैं और चले जाएंगे। और कैरेक्टर इज़ पैरामाउंट, जो भी सिचुएशन दे रखी है उसमें कैरेक्टर अच्छा करिए। एंड अगर आप मेडिटेट करेंगे देन यू विल सी कि देयर इज़ समथिंग एल्स दैट इज़ ट्रू, स्पिरिचुअल सेल्फ, आत्मा। अल्टीमेटली यही है कि एंड ऑफ द डे जो मेडिटेट करते हैं, मेडिटेट करने के बाद आपको जो लगता है कि देयर इज़ समथिंग, मैं मतलब दैट इज़ व्हाट कॉन्शियसनेस, मेरे हिसाब से तो वही है। अब आगे बताएंगे तो पता चलेगा, बट अगर भगवत गीता पढ़ते तो भगवत गीता ने सिंप्लीफाई करके चीज़ें लिखी हुई हैं कि आप इसे भगवत गीता कहते हैं, जितने भी उपनिषद हैं, जितनी भी वेदास हैं, सबको समराइज़ करके की पॉइंट्स भगवत गीता में अच्छे तरीके से लिखे हुए हैं। इसीलिए लोग भगवत गीता पढ़ते हैं कि वो आसान है, आसानी से समझ आ जाती है, और कंपैरेटिवली उसने सब जगहों से सब कुछ निकाल के वहाँ पे रख दिया है।
मैं तो ये सोचूं कि स्कूल में कोई ना कोई ऐसी क्लास होनी चाहिए जिसमें इसके बारे में बात हो। इनको सुन के मुझे याद आ रहा है, मेरे संस्कृत के सर जो थे वो ऐसी बातें हमको बताते थे और उनकी काफ़ी टाइम मतलब बैठ के ध्यान से सुनते थे, और वो इस टाइप की बातें और मतलब कैसे अच्छा बनना है या उस टाइप के ना कर्म और वो सब, और श्लोक्स बोल बोल कर वो समझाते थे। तो हमारे तो उस टाइम इतने यंग होते थे तो कई बात समझ आती थी, कई नहीं आती थी, पर सुनने में बड़ा अच्छा लगता था। अब ये भी जैसे उन्होंने एक कहानी स्टोरी के वे से एक्सप्लेन करने की कोशिश की है, दैट इज़ अमेजिंग। अब आगे देखते हैं कि अब आगे क्या बताते हैं वो। बट ब्यूटी वही कह रहे हैं, सबसे ओल्ड उपनिषद जो है ये सबसे ओल्ड है और सबसे मतलब
बार बार बताने की कोशिश करते हैं, मगर पूरा वर्ल्ड जो है आजकल मेटेरियलिस्टिक चीज़ों में डूब चुका है
समझ आती।
और बहुत रेयरली लोगों को समझ आता है कि वर्ल्ड टेम्पररी है, कैरेक्टर पैरामाउंट है, फिर भी लोग पैसे की तरफ भागते हैं और वो डुअलिटीज़ की बात भी करते हैं, अच्छाई बुराई डुअलिटीज़ है, उससे ऊपर उठना पड़ता है। तो ये तो अगर आप भगवद गीता पढ़ें समझे तभी आपको पता लगेगा, अदरवाइज़ कोई और बता रहा है तो क्योंकि वो समझ चुका है तो अब आपके लिए डिफ़िकल्ट लगता है, बट जो समझ गया उतना ज्ञानी नहीं है, भगवद गीता में दिया हुआ है। आप देखिए वो तो वही बात है, चैप्टर है, जैसे चैप्टर पढ़ लिया उसे समझ आता है, दूसरे लोग तो बड़ा जीनियस है, जीनियस नहीं है, चैप्टर पढ़ लो तो तुम्हें पता चल जाएगा।
ब्यूटीफुल था वैसे, ऐसी सुननी चाहिए रोज़, अगर आप थोड़ा सुनो तो आपकी भी लाइफ जो है ना इम्प्रूव होएगी। तो चलो यार आप भी शेयर करना अपने थॉट्स, चलते हैं, मिलेंगे नेक्स्ट वीडियो में बहुत ही जल्द। टिल देन टेक केयर एंड बाय बाय।
तो अगर आप मेरे इस चैनल पे नए हो तो जल्दी से सब्सक्राइब के बटन को हिट करो और बेल आइकन को क्लिक करो ताकि आपको मेरा जब नया वीडियो मैं लगाऊं आपको उसके बारे में जल्दी से पता चल जाए।